we go now, baby. We are right back into the action for another day of the week. Welcome to the Thursday edition of Before You Bet right here on the Covers YouTube channel. Make sure you smash that subscribe button right down there. Hit the like button right down there while you are at it. And we are back, baby, after a little bit of a post-Super Bowl break. And we are all over the map covering everything that there is to cover in the world of sports betting today. We're going rapid fire style, NBA to college basketball, into the NHL. We have an absolute avalanche of picks, a little something for everyone. Jon Metler and Ro joining me. So let's not waste any more time here. Let's start with the NBA. Let's bring in our guy, the ass man, Jon Metler, the Metler Magic. Metler, are you ready for is it the second half of the NBA season? Is that what we're calling it?
Last third. It's kind of sad. It makes me sad. There's only about like 27, 30 games left for most teams, but it's a stretch run for sure.
The last third. Indeed. Okay, let's get into it here. Great looking board in the NBA. Can be a little tricky the first night back after the All-Star break, but Metler and I are going to be a little aggressive here tonight. 6 total picks. And let's start things off in Denver, where the Washington Wizards are in town, the biggest spread of the night, and I am on the dog here. Washington Wizards, baby. So dig into the stats here. These teams have been surprisingly close statistically over the last 10 games. Wizards actually edged them out in both EFG percentage and opponent EFG percentage and are just a tad behind in net rating over the last 10 games there. Denver not performing well as a double-digit favorite. They are playing down to the competition, 3-9-1 against the spread in their last 13 games as a double-digit favorite. Washington as a double-digit dog. They're on a 7-2 against the spread run. And when you have a big spread like this, you want to see how the teams are performing in the fourth quarter. And Washington, quite strong. Great effort right to the final whistle. They are 5th in fourth quarter net rating over the last 10 games, 6th in fourth quarter point margin. How about a little bit of goddamn respect for the Washington Wizards, baby? Plus 15. Okay, Metler. Luka points. You like him to go over. Break this one down for us.
Yeah, I'm going Luka Doncic over 31.5 points, minus 115. He's playing the Phoenix Suns. So they always talk about you can't handicap human emotion. It's very true. There's certain things like that projections just can't grab. If there's one thing I've learned from betting NBA player props is that Luka Doncic, when something is personal to him, he delivers. He just has like another gear. You just can't even really explain it. He just kind of is that type of athlete. The good news is we kind of have both. So he has a personal rivalry with Devin Booker. And there's also this total is just a little too low. The projections actually are way above this total. It's about 34 points. So we kind of have both on our side here, which is good. For Doncic, he's played the Suns twice this year. He dropped 50 on them on Christmas, 34 in the previous matchup. Both those games were without Kyrie Irving, and he was also missing the addition of PJ Washington and Daniel Gafford. He should have a lot more space to operate in tonight, so that should help too. This just, he was doing this when he was the focal point. The Suns were keying on him, and now he has a lot more people around him which help create space.
Okay, there we go. Okay, so a lot of big games in the NBA tonight, but I'm going all in on this Wizards Nuggets game. Maybe an under the radar game. I think a couple good looking betting spots. I'm going to take under on the total of 232. I think this is way too high for a Nuggets game. They've gone under in 11 of their last 13 games. Average combined score of just 215.4 in those games. They actually stayed under this number of 232 in 12 of these 13 games, and these teams combined for just 217 back on January 21st. You check out the shooting numbers from each of these teams. Absolute dog shit here lately. Last 10, 30th and 23rd in EFG percentage, 25th and 26th in three-point percentage. And here's the thing. Both teams have been great at limiting three-pointers. Very good at defending the three, especially Washington, surprisingly. They've allowed the fewest three-pointers per game over the last 10. The Nuggets there at 8th. So I like the under 232 there in Denver. Next up, Wendell Carter Jr. going back to your roots here, Metler, with an assist prop. What do we like here?
Magic and assists. So I'm going over 1.5 assists. I actually grabbed this at plus 160. It's moved quite a bit. There's been some injury news that has kind of played to that. Markelle Fultz is out. Paolo Banchero is questionable. The best number when we came on here was plus 130. You probably have to grab this pretty quick because I think it's going to get even shorter and shorter. Just for Wendell Carter, you're always concerned about his minutes, and like projecting minutes is one of the biggest thing when you're betting NBA player props. There's a chance he sits in the fourth quarter just based on how Jamal Mosley does his lineups. I don't think that will happen tonight just because of the size of the Cavaliers. I think he will be a part of that fourth quarter lineup, especially now with Markelle Fultz out and probably Banchero questionable. The Minnesota Timberwolves are like a kind of like a similar matchup to the Cavaliers, big interior, and Wendell Carter Jr. had his biggest minute output just recently against the Timberwolves with 37 minutes. So I just think from, I like the over 1.5 assists for Carter. If he's playing his usual allotment of like 27, 28 minutes, I just think there's a chance for elevated minutes, which would make this prop have an even bigger edge than what we're seeing with the 28 minutes.
Okay, I will wrap up my NBA picks, a couple NHL on the back end of the show, but in the NBA, we will go to Utah for my next one here with the Hornets are in town. An over bet for you guys. I think this number is too low, 229. Let's go over on this one because Utah games are topping this number with absolute ease. Average combined score of just 247.8 in their last 10 games. They've topped this number of 229 in 7 straight games. These teams played back on January 27th. They combined for 256 points in that game. And each of these defenses has been absolute dog shit here lately, among the worst in the NBA. 30th and 24th in opponent EFG percentage over the last 10 games. Utah is allowing the most points in the league in that 10-game sample size. So we'll take over 229 in that one. Metler, let's wrap up the NBA section of the show. Jaden Ivey, what do you like for him?
So I'm going over 3.5 assists. So for Jaden Ivey, when the season started, he was just not even really getting minutes for Monty Williams. That's completely flipped here. Even right before the break, he dropped 37 on the Sacramento Kings on the road. He's very much involved in the offense. Love to see it personally. So I like Ivy over 3.5 assists at this number, just in general with a matchup with the Pacers, but there's kind of like a little added bonus here. He just played in the Rising Stars Challenge over the weekend, and Benedict Mathurin, who plays for the Pacers, got up in his face and was saying he can't even guard him in a Rising Stars Challenge. And they kind of, you could tell they don't like each other. And ironically, they're playing each other first game out of the break. I looked at Mathurin's props. I looked at Ivy's props, looked at their points, assists, all these things. Thought this one offered the best edge here for Ivy, just from, Ivy's game is a lot of speed. He can break down the Pacers defense. He should live in the lane. And having Jalen Duren as a lob threat too also helps the assist prop.
Mathurin, these under the radar narratives. I like it. Metler. Okay, John, that does it for today's NBA, but you'll be right back with us tomorrow where we'll do the exact same thing. Best of luck with those bets. Hopefully we will see the return of the Sweet Boys here tonight.
Awesome.
Yes, sir. All right, buddy. We'll catch you tomorrow.
All right, I'll see you guys tomorrow.
All right, let's keep it with basketball, but shift over to college hoops. We're going to bring in our guy, Ro, who's going to be covering the college side of things, basketball-wise, for us, right through March Madness here. So, Ro, you have 4 picks for us. Let's not waste any time. Let's get right into it. You have 3 spreads, 1 total. Let's start with that total. SMU taking on Florida Atlantic. We have a total of 153.5. What do you like in this game?
Yeah, I'm loving the under 153.5 here. This is going to be a really good game. Might be flying under the radar. These are 2 very good schools coming out of smaller conferences. Of course, we know how good Florida Atlantic is from last year. So we're seeing a total of 153.5. Ken Palm is projecting a total of 150 for this game. And like I said, 2 of the best teams in that conference. And in those smaller conferences, you need to finish near the top. You need to do really, really well in order to make the big dance. So this is a very crucial game for these 2 teams. I think they're going to play really good defense, focus on that end of the floor. You look at the Owls, and they've kind of struggled defensively lately. They're outside the top 100 in adjusted defensive efficiency, but that's a bit surprising. This is the same team that was 34th in the country in adjusted defensive efficiency last season. They returned all 5 starters, same coach, of course. So we expected them to be that good defensively this year as well. They really quite weren't, especially lately. But at the start of the season, they were playing lockdown defense. First 10 games of the season, they held 7 of their opponents below 63 points. This is a team that can certainly play better on the defensive end of the floor. You look at Southern Methodist, they've been defending well all season, 8th in the country in opponents' effective field goal percentage, 26th in the country in points per game allowed. One thing about the Mustangs, though, is that they don't have much offensive firepower, just 2 players averaging double digits in points, and their leading scorer is shooting just 41% from the field and just 24% from deep. Other thing to keep in mind is that both of these teams do a terrific job of slowing down their opponents. Florida Atlantic is 344th in the country in average possession length on defense. SMU is 346th. So lots of reasons to love the under here.
Okay, next up, let's go to the Atlantic Sun. Now, you submitted these before the show, and I was like, who in the hell are these teams? But I looked into it, and these are indeed teams that are playing tonight. We have Stetson, a 6.5-point favorite, taking on Queen's University. What do you like here?
Yeah, I mean, I love the Stetson Hatters to cover here. I think 6.5 points is pretty low considering how these teams match up against each other and the home court advantage of Stetson. You look at these teams and, a couple of opposite ends of the spectrum as far as how they're doing in conference play. Stetson's second in the ASUN conference with a 9-3 record. Queens is third from the bottom with a 5-8 mark. You look at how these teams perform in terms of home away splits. It's extremely stark. The Royals are 0-14 on the road, don't have a single road win this season. Stetson is 10-1 at home. You look at the Hatters, they can put up points, 111th in the country in adjusted offensive efficiency. Royals are outside the top 300 in adjusted defensive efficiency, and they're surrendering more than 82 points per game in conference play. And I mean, these teams played already earlier this year, played last month. Stetson beat Queens by 18 points on the road. Now they're at home and they're laying just 6.5. I'll gladly lay that.
Okay, next up, a couple of ranked teams here. The 21st ranked Washington State, pretty big underdog here, 13 points taking on Arizona, ranked number 4. Do you like the dog or you like the favorite here?
Yeah, I love the dogs here. I mean, both of these teams are red hot, but the market definitely seems to be undervaluing the Cougars. They're on a 7-game winning streak, 6-1 ATS during that span. They beat the Wildcats as 9-point underdogs when these teams tangled in Pullman last month. And while Arizona is very good at home, I think the spread is a bit too large here. I'm sure the Wildcats are going to have some positive regression from that first meeting. They shot just 35% from the field, just 29% from the arc in that game. But this is still a Washington State squad that defends extremely well. 27th in adjusted defensive efficiency, 18th in opponent effective field goal percentage, 7th in defensive rebounding rate. So they do all those things at a really high level. They also play at a really sluggish pace. They're outside the top 300 adjusted tempo, and they proved that they could slow down Arizona's up-tempo attack in that first matchup. Wildcats contests on general, they see an average of 155 possessions per game. But that first meeting saw just 141. So obviously the fewer possessions means it's harder for a favorite to cover those big spreads. So give me Washington with the points here.
Okay, let's bring it home here. Big Ten matchup. We have a struggling Ohio State team taking on Minnesota. Minnesota coming in as a 3.5-point favorite. I'm guessing you are on them.
Yeah, I love Minnesota in this spot. The Buckeyes have been struggling all year, but they're coming off a massive win. Beat number 2 Purdue on Sunday. So this is definitely a letdown spot for them. Especially when you consider, once again, home away splits. They're so stark in college, and these teams definitely kind of fit into that. You look at Minnesota, they're 14-3 at home, average scoring margin of plus 13.4 points per game. Ohio State is 0-7 on the road. Ohio State is outside the top 100 in adjusted defensive efficiency, 12th in the Big Ten in defensive efficiency in conference play. And this is a good Minnesota offense. You look at rim and 3 rate, which takes into account the best spots on the floor to score efficiently. And the Golden Gophers are 4th in the country per shot quality bets. They're 8th in half-court efficiency, 7th at attacking the rim, and they're also decent at shooting from beyond the arc. Gophers are also the best ATS team in the country. That's something that I don't think enough people are talking about. They're 22-3 ATS on the season. That's pretty incredible. They're also 8-0 ATS in their last 8 games, and this is a relatively small spread when you keep that in mind.
Okay, that does it, Ro. We wish you all the best with those picks. Hope you go 4-0. We'll have you back on, I don't know if it's tomorrow or sometime next week. But yeah, we'll catch up with you then. Best of luck with those bets, and we'll see you next time we see you.
Best of luck, Joe.
Yes, sir. Okay, before we move over to the NHL, if you're watching right now, do me a favor. Hit the like button right down there. Make sure you are subscribed to the Covers YouTube channel, and hit up the live chat or the comments section. Let us know what bets you are on tonight and why you like them. Okay, on to the NHL. 2 plus money, a little bit of plus money picks here, and I hate to brag here. Actually, I love to brag. hitting at 100% here in the NHL in 2024 with my picks. Now, just 1-0, but still, that's a win percentage of 100%. So we'll try to keep that alive here tonight. We have a good-looking game in Calgary with the Boston Bruins in town. I'm on the home team. Give me Calgary to win this one outright, plus 106. So the analytics edge absolutely goes to the Flames in this game. They rank 4th in expected goals for percentage over the last 10 games. Boston comes in at 15th. Much bigger gap in Corsi percentage over the last 10. Calgary at 5th, Boston at 25th. Now, a big part of this bet, it has to do with the fact that it's a very tough scheduling spot for Boston here. Second game of a back-to-back where they haven't been strong. Also, a possible letdown spot for them after a tough OT win in Edmonton last night. Boston just 3-4 in their last 7 when in the second game of a back-to-back. And like I said, a very tough scheduling spot. Their third game in 4 nights, actually. They had another tough overtime game on Monday at home against Dallas. So we will take Calgary to take care of business on their home ice. And we will wrap things up out in Seattle, where the Vancouver Canucks are in town. This game has a total of 6. I'm going to take the under on this with odds of plus 105. So lackluster play from each offense here lately, especially Seattle. What really stands out for these teams over the last 10 games, not getting a lot of pucks on net, 25th and 27th in shots on net in that span. And this lines up very well with a very nice goaltending matchup. Lights out play at home from Kraken goaltender Joey Daccord, the pride of Boston, Mass, I might add. He has a 2.23 goals against average at home. And he's taking on Thatcher Demko, the pride of San Diego, California, by the way. How many starting goalies in the NHL? How many players in the NHL are out of San Diego, God damn it? 6 or fewer goals in 7 consecutive Demko starts. Last time he played in Seattle, he had a great start. He allowed just 1 goal in that game. So that does it here for the show today. A couple people chiming in the chat. Kyle Clement, he likes the T-Wolves to take care of business, -3.5. And Joshua is on Victor Wembanyama to go over 1.5 threes. Guys, thank you for tuning into the show. Best of luck with those bets. I'm going to be right back with you guys tomorrow, once again, covering the NBA, college hoops, and the NHL, doing it all in rapid fire style. If you like the show, let us know by simply hitting the like button. Make sure you are also subscribed to the Covers YouTube channel here. Lots of great content up on the page right now for the PGA tournament kicking off here today. Big UFC event on Saturday. We're all over the NHL as well. Thank you guys for tuning in. Best of luck with your bets, and we will catch you again tomorrow. Woo!